Starcasting to you from the City of Angels. Hello, everyone. I'm Karis. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. This is your astrology cosmic superpower for the week beginning Sunday, July 21st through Saturday, July 27th, 2024. Let's journey together with astrology and explore how to connect with the stars, the planets, the energies for our new week ahead. The enchanting night sky this week begins on Sunday, the 21st, with the full moon at 29 degrees Capricorn. Also on the 22nd, we have Mercury, the messenger planet, the highest in the sky after twilight and as we go into the evening. Also coming up on the 24th, we have Saturn and the moon in Pisces close together. And of course, the two benefics, Jupiter and Venus, the lesser and greater benefic, Jupiter being the greater benefic, are both shining so brightly and visible in the sky now. Sunday, July 21st, with this second full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees. I think it is fair to say that this has been a life-changing, never to be repeated, once in a lifetime full moon cycle of the first full moon in Capricorn at the time of the summer solstice at 1 degree Capricorn. And now we have the second full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees. Now, 29 degrees is the ending degree. We have the full moon at 29 degrees Capricorn. Neptune is retrograde at 29 degrees Pisces. Later on during this year, we're going to have Pluto retrograde from Aquarius back to 29 degrees Capricorn. And this ties into the cycle that began in 2008 when we have had Pluto move into the sign of Capricorn for the first time in about 248 years. Now, 29 degrees is a completion degree. The degrees, the divisions of each sign of the zodiac and the sky go from 0 to 29 degrees. So we are wrapping up a cycle, a theme, an energy in our life that is connected to Capricorn and its reflection, the sign of Cancer. The sun in Cancer is also at 29 degrees. In the span of 1 month from the first full moon in Capricorn to this 29 degree full moon in Capricorn, in 1 month, the world, our lives has changed, transformed completely. Everything has changed over the span of 1 month. That is how quickly your perception, your attitude, life itself can change forever with these two full moons in the sign of Capricorn. Now, Capricorn and Cancer, this is the axis in astrology that has to do with your personal, private home life, reflecting the Capricorn in the world government, value, marketplace of the world. In other words, the 4th and the 10th house. Every sign of the zodiac has its reflection, its opposite. Aries, Libra, Taurus, Scorpio, Gemini, Sagittarius, Cancer, Capricorn. So the two signs go together. There's a connection here, like the cosmic energies. In the year 2008, when Pluto entered the sign of Capricorn for the first time in over 200 years, this was the beginning of the structures, the traditions, the things set into place that we perhaps assumed would always stay the same. When those structures started to become dismantled, this was the 2008 Pluto entering Capricorn. Now we are moving to the end of a 16-year cycle of this Capricorn energy, when the old guard, we could say, has been coming down, is finalizing in its being dismantled and coming down. When you think of Capricorn, one of the things you could think of is how Capricorn rules over the bones, the skeleton, the things that hold up the structure of a person, a building, governments, things that have been set into place for a long time. We have seen businesses that we thought would be there forever come to an end. I can remember years ago, perhaps you do, when Princess Diana gave an interview, and she said in that interview, if the royal family will not adapt and change with the future, it will be the end of the monarchy. I can't remember who she was interviewing with, but she stated this over 20 years ago, that that structure must adapt, that tradition must change and adapt, or it will not survive. As we are seeing with what has happened in recent events, it has become clear that if the governments do not adapt and change, they are not going to last. So how you connect this to your life, your personal life, is where in your life are you seeing, and it depends on where it is in the astrology, what must adapt and change, because the old ways are simply not going to keep going. The moon in astrology is our satellite. It's a mirror. It reflects back to us the way we have been socialized and conditioned, the subconscious beliefs that we have been trained to accept as reality, the emotional imprints. The moon rules over the emotions. The moon is also how you were nurtured and taught to care for yourself as a baby, an infant, a child, and how you were trained by watching and imitating how you were cared for. That trained you to how you will now not only believe what you believe, but how you care for yourself. From cradle to grave, you are always in relationship. You are always married to yourself. And that inner marriage, whether it is harmonious or not, ties into the moon and the reflection of the moon. When you think of yourself as having a marriage, a relationship with yourself, you're in partnership with yourself. We could always also say in astrology, this is the sun and the moon, the two lights, the two luminaries, the sun being the masculine, the moon being the feminine. How are you in relationship to yourself? This is also in astrology what the moon reflects back to us. Do you nurture yourself? Are you good to yourself? Are you willing to adapt and change with the times and what's going on? Or what Capricorn can represent is, are you stuck and trapped in the past? Capricorn, again, has to do with traditions, the way things have always been. Capricorn also rules over what has become crystallized, what has become hard, like the bones in the body. Capricorn rules over as well the decay. Things have reached their peak and now they must come down. So this second full moon in Capricorn, where we started out at the beginning of this process, full moon in Capricorn at 1 degree. Now we're at the full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees. So this is the completion. And as you're seeing in the astrology, this is also 29 degrees, 29 degrees, 29 degrees. It's repeating itself all over the place with all of the different cosmic powers and energies. The moon being our mirror, our satellite, always reflects back to us the true inner self-image that you really have of yourself, not the outside mask and what you show publicly, but the inner true self-image of how you see yourself. And this will reflect back to Capricorn, which is how you are in the world. If you know someone, and I'm sure that you do, where you know someone and they have all of the gifts and talents, they've got the whole package for success, Capricorn, yet you will see time and time again how that person sets themselves up for self-sabotage. I have many of these clients, and you may ask yourself, well, why? They've got the stuff. They've got the whole package. Why is it that when opportunity after opportunity presents themselves to this person, somehow they seem to sabotage and mess it up? This axis of the full moon in Capricorn, reflecting the inner early memories and childhood and imprints of Cancer, is that reflection, because Capricorn and Cancer are the way, the family, the roots, what has been handed down from generation to generation in your personal, private family, in the family of the culture you live in, all the way out into the world and beyond, the nation and beyond. This process of Pluto in Capricorn with things coming down is also the process that you have been in over the past 16 years, the process of what you have been in, which is the process of how you've been brainwashed, socialized, and conditioned from the cultural family background into how you think and believe. That's the important part, how you believe who and what you are. And that is directly connected to your success in your private life, which is Cancer, and your success in your public life, Capricorn, the 10th house in astrology. Pluto is the planet that excavates, it digs deeply, and it pulls up what is no longer needed in the present. It becomes toxic and poison to what is going on in the present. Pluto rules over death, life, death, and rebirth. So think of yourself connected to that cosmic power where you yourself have been excavating the Plutonian power of life, death, and rebirth, transformation. This has been the Pluto and Capricorn cycle. Yes, Pluto has recently moved into Aquarius, but again, now it is retrograding back to the last degree of Capricorn before it moves forward and will fully be in the sign of Aquarius, freedom, liberation, air, light, thoughts, thinking, the element of air. Also, this full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees that connects to the 4th and 10th house of your astrology chart in the astrology chart in the natural wheel. This opposite balance between private life and public life. The 4th house, Cancer, is home, family, it's privacy. It also rules over the bedroom in astrology. The 10th house, Capricorn, is the world, the marketplace in the world, your value and what you have to offer of value in the world. So this axis here, the mother, the father, the private life, the public life, what you keep sacred and private as opposed to what you show publicly. This is another thing to reflect on as we reflect during the full moon in Capricorn. Now, there is a difference between privacy and hiding. Let's say you want to go into a room alone to pray and you want privacy. Is that privacy or is it hiding? Hiding having the implication of wrongdoing. If you want to go into the Cancer ruled fourth house of the bedroom and need privacy, is it privacy or is it hiding? If you want to go into the bathroom, eighth house, Scorpio in astrology, and you would like to have privacy, is it privacy or is it hiding? Again, why I'm mentioning this and how it directly connects to the cosmic energies is because what has been dismantled during this Pluto's entry into Capricorn in 2008. And one of the things that this full moon at 29 degrees Capricorn is reflecting back to us is the balance between what is private and sacred as opposed to what is considered to be hiding and wrongdoing. You're up to something, meaning in today's world, everything is shown publicly. If you keep something private, for the most part, in today's world, you're not ready to share feelings. That's the moon. You're not ready to share your private life. Then the implication today is that you're up to something. There's wrongdoing going on. And with this full moon in Capricorn at the last degrees, one of the things you can ask yourself is how much of a toll has that taken on your emotions? This lack of privacy in society today, where everything, everywhere you go, everything that you do is watched. I'm referring to social media, of course, and other things. And take a look at this and where it is in your private, personal astrology chart and the cost, the toll it has taken on you. Because this full moon in Capricorn, reflecting the Cancer of the fourth house, is that working out the balance in a healthy way of a private life needed that is kept private. And of course, a public life that is needed as well. Cancer is very sensitive and hides in its crab shell to protect. This is connected to the fourth house. Well, if it's all about just staying at home, privately protecting, then you're not connecting and reaching out to the world, the community, the cosmos around you. If everything is all about public, and it's all put out there and it's just all about career, well, then that is out of balance as well. Then it's just about the public persona but where is that inner family, safe, familiar place where you feed your emotions and your soul, and you're feeling very reassured, and the inner child, the moon, and the emotions can be nurtured and grow and flourish. If it's just on the Capricorn axis, then the inner life gets depleted. So we need both. And this full moon in Capricorn is reflecting this back to us. So a few of the ways to work with this very profound, once in a lifetime cosmic power is to look at how you balance your work private life balance. Also, how, believe it or not, you are entitled to have a private life. You are not required to put everything out there publicly where it will be depleted to your detriment. That inner private life, Cancer, fourth house in astrology, is essential. The feelings that my astrology clients continuously discuss with me about how they feel lost, how they feel ungrounded, how they don't know what to hold on to, how to create this balance between the inner nurturing life connected to the outer community public life is something that with this Pluto cycle we've had in Capricorn, and also the reflection of these two full moons and what we witnessed in between the two full moons in Capricorn is this balance that people are trying to figure out and deal with. And with all of the planets that we're talking about that are going, or either are at or going to the 29th degree, at the very least, it's fair to say there is an ending and things have to, will, and must transform and change. For Monday, July 22nd, as we close out Cancer season and move into Leo season with the solar ingress into the sign of Leo, we can reflect back on the Cancer time and what are the lessons that we have learned about what the sign of Cancer is all about. Your feelings, your emotions, your sensitivities, your need to feel safe, your need for the familiar and family, the need to have home and community, and that connection to not only your emotions, but the ones that you trust. This is Cancer, the ones that you trust to share your inner personal life with. Cancer rules over memories. It is the moon. And in astrology, we say Cancer the crab will lose the claw before we let go of something. Cancer clings, it holds on for dear life. Cancers can also be known to be some of the greatest hoarders that they won't let go of anything. They won't let go of stuff. They hold on. So the Cancer season, and what you have learned during this Cancer season, is what are you still perhaps clinging on to emotionally, physically, maybe a person that you know they're just not good for me any longer. What are you clinging to from the past that during this Cancer season, you could look back and say, I've got to let go. You don't have to lose the claw. Just let go. Now, as we begin Leo time with the solar ingress of the sun into its kingdom, castle, its domicile, fixed fire Leo, which rules over the heart. Leo is often called the sign of royalty because Leo, the heart, is sovereign, dictated to and controlled by no one or no thing. Nobody tells the heart how to feel. You can't force yourself to love someone or something that you don't. You cannot force yourself to not love something or someone that you do. The heart is sovereign, it rules supreme. So, as we are leaving Cancer season, that clings, and the two very profound and powerful full moons in Capricorn, the sun's ingress into its home sign where it functions at its strongest, its best. Summertime, there's tons of light, there's tons of energy. It rules over the heart. Stop lying to yourself because the heart cannot, does not, will not lie. Stop lying to yourself and trying to pretend and talk yourself out of what you truly love, where you are sovereign, which is the heart. We could lose a lot of things. We could lose a thumb or whatever, a toenail, but the heart is essential. You cannot, it is impossible to keep going without the heart. It is the center of our being, our body. We need literally the heart to keep going, to keep living. Now, the sun, Leo, is also the creative expression. It is the light. It is originality. And two things are going on always. We are either creating or we are destroying. It's one of those two things. And the sun creates. It is the life light giver that gives us the energy and the power to not only thrive, but to create. The sun is meant to shine its light on everything and everyone. The sun doesn't pick and choose. Well, I'll shine my light on that person over there, but I won't shine my light over those people over there on the other side. The shine shares its light with everyone. It is the life giver. And now we have the solar ingress going into Leo, where it functions and has just everything it needs, meaning you, to shine your light and be original and create and finally tell yourself the truth and live the truth of what it is that you really love. You must do this or it will decay and die, like the what we have been witnessing with Pluto in Capricorn and the two full moons in Capricorn. Its time has come. Those structures, those, the way it has always been, must come down at this time, and they are. Nothing and no one is stopping this. July 23rd. What an exceptional and such a special day, July 23rd. We've got the moon entering mutable water Pisces, ruled by Jupiter. The moon in Pisces will make a square aspect to Mars now in Gemini. So the moon Mars square is this agitation, let's say, because it's a square aspect that prompts us to take action and do something about the moon in Pisces, which is how we feel, making the square to Mars and Gemini, which is, let's talk about this. Let's get clear. Let's figure this out. The moon in Pisces are all of those oceans of emotion. And the Mars in Gemini is saying, wait a second. Let's try to be level-headed about this and think it through and figure it out. It doesn't have to be a big, upsetting, emotional moon square Mars drama. We can think this through. We can have both the mind and the emotions. And this is really highlighted for us on July 23rd. Now, as we go into Wednesday, July 24th, we still have the moon in mutable water Pisces and making a conjunction to Saturn in Pisces. So the moon Saturn conjunction with Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces. These are the emotional blocks to take a look at, meaning what are the addictions? What are the avoidant things with your feelings, as we just chatted about, where it's about becoming very clear about what emotions you're faking it. You don't really feel it anymore. And what has become an addiction that you now have had enough in your life, because it is the confusion and the feeling of being lost if we do not deal with the moon conjunct Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Thursday, July 25th, Mercury changes sign. Mercury moves from Leo into the sign of Virgo, which is Mercury's domicile and exaltation. Now, the function, the job of Mercury at its best is to make a very clear assessment and accountability of things. Virgo, they make great accountants. Anything having to do with looking very clearly at detailed work. This is Mercury in the sign of Virgo. Its domicile, where it functions at its best, and its exaltation. So any type of clearing through detailed work, this Mercury in Virgo is superb to get the job done there. Now, because Mercury in Virgo has to do with the health axis, this is superb for making an assessment, getting a body scan or a blood panel done, or something where you're taking stock with this Mercury in Virgo as far as just where are you in terms of health, your weight, your blood pressure, of course, your mind, your thoughts, your thinking. Thoughts are things, we know this now. So the Mercury in Virgo, Virgo being very practical about not only getting the job done, but the assessment of health and what works and what needs to be fixed. This is Virgo, the perfectionist. So taking stock of, to begin with, your own physical body and where it is healthy, how you are with diet, exercise, stress level, your peace of mind. Mercury rules over the mind. Virgo can have a tendency to worry and worry. So the Mercury in Virgo is this assessment again of going over all the small details that mean so much. Let's say everything in your life is going great and your relationships are wonderful, but there's just that one coworker or one person in your life or just one thing in your life where it's throwing everything else out of balance. That is not a small, insignificant thing to a Mercury in Virgo. That is something that needs to go. Because when you look at the symbol of Virgo, and she's the maiden at harvest time, and she's separating the wheat from the chaff. What is healthy? We're going to keep this. What is poison, toxic? We're going to get rid of it. We're going to let it go. So the Mercury in Virgo is this taking away of what is fake. It's not healthy for you. So we love this Mercury in Virgo. So now we've got the sun in its home sign where it functions at its powerful. And now we've got Mercury going to its home sign, Mercury in Virgo, where it functions very powerfully. These are two wonderful cosmic energies to get focused, to get your will and strength. This is the sun in Leo, to get that in order and take charge of your own life and well-being. Again, the whole Pluto and Capricorn and these aspects are about there's no more just assuming that the traditional powers that be are going to get it done. They haven't and they won't. They're coming down. How much clearer can it be that we witnessed with our own eyes that in broad daylight, only 50 yards away, people witnessed a would-be assassin climbing up on a roof with a rifle. And that one, how did that take place? And two, with what I just stated, which is we're not able to just put the responsibility in the hands of others for our safety and well-being. How much clearer can it be? We saw it with our own eyes, and thank God it didn't go the way of what that monster wanted to attempt. Whatever your politics may be, it is heartbreaking, tragic for the soul, the heart of this nation and people everywhere to see someone potentially taken down. And God bless that fireman that gave his life to protect his family. You can't make this up. The whole thing was just one, how was this allowed to happen? And again, that changed everything forever in between these two full moons in Capricorn. Friday, July 26th, we have Chiron, the wounded healer, stationing retrograde. Now, Chiron in Aries going retrograde is that going back, returning, reflecting on your sense of identity, your true authentic self, Chiron being in the sign of Aries, and going back to the true nature, the true self of who and what you are, and living that openly and without any pretenses. Aries being the newborn baby. What you see is what you get. You're just expressing the truth of who and what you are. Saturday, as we close out the week, July 27th, we have the moon enter her exaltation in the sign of fixed earth Taurus. The moon wants it all. It's hungry for love when it is exalted in the sign of Taurus, ruled by Venus. Also on this Saturday, Mercury enters its storm shadow cycle, where it slows down from our perspective and moves less than 40 minutes of arc per day. We also have Venus in the sign of Leo, which is just so romantic, and the desire for the expression of giving and receiving love. Also on Saturday, the 27th, as we close out the week, we have the fourth quarter moon at 5 degrees Taurus, ruled by Venus. The fourth quarter is that crossover point when we move from fourth quarter back to new moon again. And 5 degrees Taurus is that desire for not only love, it's creative, it's artistic. Again, we're creating or we're destroying. It's one of two things. And because it is the moon in Taurus, ruled by Venus, you create when it comes from a place of love. That is what creates. So if nothing else in your life and what's going on in your life, making the decision to love no matter what is how we are moving towards the new moon that will be coming up. The moon in Taurus making that square to the sun in Leo, which makes an antitia to each other. But the moon sun is the inner and the outer, the two lights, the sun and moon, the masculine and the feminine bringing or moving into balance and harmony. About the outer expression in the world, there's that theme again, and the inner, rich, personal, private life between the moon and the sun, making a square at the fourth quarter moon. As we close out this week and this extremely profound time, again, as a reminder, you already know this, I'm sure, that you have the power. You were born with it. You have the authority and the power over your inner, rich, emotional life. What you believe, that's under your jurisdiction. What it is that you truly love and want to create, you have the power to do that. This time we're in, not only with this week's astrology, but what's just going on as an era, is that putting who and what you should be and what you're told and socialized and conditioned and brainwashed to believe, it simply isn't appropriate now. You having the authority and the power over your own life and what you love and what you are creating. This is not only this week's astrology, but the time that we are living in now. So remember, the cosmic energies, the cosmic powers, they are reflecting back to us. They're not making you do anything. When I refer to the planets and the heavens, they're lights, spotlights that reflecting back to us what it is time, what the season is in our lives, and the light or the illumination of what it is that you want illuminated in your life and what it is that you are making and creating in your life. Have a fabulous week, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and listening to The Voice of Astrology, your cosmic superpower. And I will see you all in the stars. Thank you.